Well, hey y'all, welcome to my channel. I appreciate you stopping by and checking out my work. So Graff Tools sent me this high-speed cutter to try out. So try it out I did. So in this video, I'll be taking aluminum power line, several species of wood, aluminite resin, and lots of super glue. And we're going to create Graff the Turtle. This power line was ripped down by Hurricane Irma. I thought about trying to use the pieces whole some kind of way, but I believe if I separate them into single strands and use the single strands, it's going to be better. So this machine is going to take this rounded, twisted aluminum wire and reshape it square and straighten it out. Each step makes it smaller and longer. Can't say it ain't work, so wear you out. I beat this old table up pretty good, but white spray paint's a quick way to get it clean. So I'm gonna sketch out the shape of this turtle. Probably sketch out just half of it. And get my metal around to that shape, and I can flip it over and get my metal somewhat the same shape. Don't want them exactly the same, but pretty close. So stay tuned, let's see what happens. I sure would appreciate it. Y'all go ahead and like, share, and subscribe. Leave me a comment. Tell me what you think about it. Using heat on this wire really helps it to bend, but it sure is tricky. You can go 1 second too hot and it'll just break half in two. So here I'm going to start building her up from the table. Bending and fitting these pieces about like I got the lines drawn there on the drawing board. And just to put the wire frame together, I'm using the CA glue. It's basically a super glue. This is called 2P10. Picked it up at Ace Hardware. One drop, 1 squirt of that accelerator juice, just a couple seconds, it's hardened right on up. It's good stuff to use in situations like this. Later I'm going to make everything solid together with resin, but this is holding it in place temporarily. So my plan is to draw this turtle out 3D with this wire. Glue it all together, fill in the spaces with wood, stone, resin, plywood, whatnot. I'm going to use this plywood. This will be my central attachment hub. So everything gets attached to this. That starts to look like a turtle right there. For the back, I decided to go with this ancient brain coral. I mean, it's limestone now, but it's 125,000-year-old coral reef. And I select out the pieces that has the brain coral present the most, so you get that pattern. And I'm gonna fit them in, each piece one at a time, into my wire frame, glue it into my plywood. You can see where I make sure that the coral's above and below the wire. That way when I grind it down, I don't have any spots. So the glue set overnight, getting solid, nice and hard. I use Type Bond 3, so it's good and strong. Remove this wire frame, and I'm gonna fill in the spaces underneath these tiles with some expanded foam. Just that great stuff you get at the big box store. Fill it in, and then I'll cut it out, grind it out, so I can come back in with my epoxy later. And the only thing I'll be epoxying is the actual channels and not the entire cavity of this turtle. Alright, well, it's time for the whole reason for this project, this Graff speed cutter. We'll give it a shot. First thing we're going to put it on is stone. I don't even think it lists aerated concrete on here, but it's tungsten carbide, so it should be able to handle this limestone. No problems. We'll get it down close to the wire, get rid of all the jagged edges, and get this thing prepared for a mold for resin pour. So let's check it out and see how it does, but no abuse it. Well, I gotta say, so far so good. This thing's cut nice, doing what it's designed to do. This here is resin. I added some dye to it to give it some contrast, but I'm just using it to seal off the spray foam, so I can, when I pour my fill of my resin in there, it just goes in the channels. Now this here, I'm gonna take these mahogany pieces, trace them out to this wire pattern, cut them out, and glue them in. This glue says it's got 4,000 psi shear and tensile strength. And this hand cutting disc, this is right after going in the stone. It's cutting on this wood like it ain't no problem whatsoever. It's staying sharp. I'm really impressed by it. I like it. Now what I got here is some cabinet lining, shelf liner, I reckon you call it. Just old plastic material, real flexible. I'm gonna take it, heat it up, and try to melt it to where it forms to this shell nice and tight. That way when I do my resin pour, it'll keep my resin usage to a minimum, keep everything in place. Alright, since I decided I'm gonna pour it upside down, be my best bet. This I'm gonna make a cradle for it, or a hammock, a 4-point hammock. And this should hold that shell just right, nice and tight. Keep everything formed to the shell, so when I pour, just like that, nice and snug. And then when I pour it, it goes where it's supposed to. Overnight, resin's cured. Get it off and see what we got. Shoot, that looks pretty cool, just like that. We're gonna take this tool and jam it right on up in that resin. And I tell you what, it's cutting it like I just took it out of the package. I done went around this entire thing, the stone, the walnut, hitting the aluminum. Well, I reckon she's gonna need some flippers. Might as well get in and cut them. I got 2 nice pieces of cherry like this, so I'm gonna make them out of it. Look at that thing cut. God almighty. I mean, this thing went through rock, aluminum, and walnut, and now it's digging in cherry. You know, I mean, I wouldn't say any other tool would be burning the wood by now, but this son of a gun ain't lost a bit of edge. So I'm gonna try to duplicate every line you see naturally on a turtle. With this aluminum wire, I reduced it 2 or 3 times, maybe 4 times to a little smaller size, a couple of different sizes for the dots, the freckles, or whatever you want to call it. This Dremel bit's also tungsten carbide, and it's made for removing grout. But I find it's a lot easier to control and kind of use it like a pencil. It'll go right there where you put it. Building the frame for the shells, pretty good challenge, but I think this part here is the most challenging. And what I like to do is just see how far I can get that wire to go. without breaking it or having to cut it. You know, eventually I end up at a point where I gotta stop. But if I can, I'm gonna go the whole length of the piece with one wire if possible. I don't believe this be anywhere near possible without them 99-cent clamps right there. Well, here's what we got so far. Boy, she looking good, I'll tell you what. Look at that. I don't know why I didn't film making that right there. For some reason I forgot to hit the button, but she opened her eyes. Shell's coming in nice. Lines coming in nice. Now we gotta make them back flippers. Stay tuned. If you made it this far, you gotta go and hit that like button. Might as well subscribe, because I promise you it's only gonna get better. Daggone biceps feel like balloons after doing a couple strands of this. Woo! That's a workout. Figured I'd go ahead and dress up this tail end too. I think that's pretty cool. I might do the whole thing that way next time. Well, time to start bending the underbelly of this guy. Graff. Little heat, twist. Get it done. This stuff's pretty neat. You got to clamp it down and heat it. Just kind of bend it and push it where you want it to go. It'll follow right along. Kind of fun. If you ever get the chance to try it, I highly recommend it. I'm just gonna make the pieces and follow my lines I drew on the bottom for that shell, so it'll have the main central parts of the shell and the outer skirt. Here is do it about the same way I did the top. I don't know. Probably use a different species of wood, maybe in 2 different species. We'll see. Stay tuned. Hit that like button. I believe this poplar will look right sexy under there, and it'll give it the right color. You know, them turtles got that lighter underside, and we just trace it out on cardboard. Use the cardboard to cut out or to trace the template onto the poplar, and then cut it out with the bandsaws. Here we go. Here again, you can see how I use the blocks to support the tiles. So each one's cut at a different height and a different angle just to get the tile to set in the wire correctly. And we'll glue it in. We'll use a Type 1-3 and then fill the cavity with spray foam later. Amazingly, this cutter's still just as sharp as it was the minute I took it out of the package. That's some good stuff. Here again, I'm going to use cardboard, trace out the shape I need, cut that out, and transfer that shape to wood. And cut it out with the bandsaw and glue it in place. Seems like every time I do a project, I remember something I once forgot. So I don't weld very often. Or when I do, I always forget to get protected. This right here sunburned my legs and arms pretty good. Ended up blistering and peeling just like I'd laid out in the sun all day. So I'm gonna get her sanded down to 320 and then put some homemade sealer on it. This sealer I used some shellac, clear shellac, and denatured alcohol, half of each. So 1 part denatured alcohol, 1 part clear shellac. That makes your sanding sealer. It penetrates that wood really, really well. Just rub it on by hand and sand it off. Once it dries, I'm gonna sand it off. I'll probably sand her to about 800 grit, maybe 1,000, and then I'll put the final finish on her, which will be shellac, denatured alcohol, and boiled linseed oil. I really do appreciate y'all coming by and watching my work, seeing what we do. So she's coming in next. My friend, another local artist, Miss Lisa Martin. She's amazing with sea sponges. She's gonna take Graff's environment and bring it to life. Stay tuned. Y'all have a nice day.